Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby and get ourselves a...
What? Oh, I'm sorry. Is my kind not allowed in this establishment?
Let's all get the fuck out of here. Let's all get the fuck out of here. Let's all get the fuck out of here and not deal with this shit.
They're so discriminatory, I swear. Not all of us Inhumans can be lucky and successfully go through Terrigenesis, metamorphizing into a glorious new form with special abilities. So what if I don't have them yet? In fact, I should be lucky I didn't metamorphosize yet. What if I turned into a bunch of anthropomorphic food items like them? That is very undesirable. I mean, maybe I would get used to it eventually, but not if everyone is gonna look at me like they're gonna eat me. This got to a weird place. I should get my seat. After all, it is IMax. Ooh, yes, IMax. I know it's gonna be crowded. After all, it is a Marvel production. Ooh, alright, better get in there. Hopefully it won't be too crammed. Yes, wait, what? Where is everybody? Did they all go to the bathroom at the same time? This was supposed to be a packed house. Am I really going to watch this all by my lonesome? No, I'm here. Yes, you are the only one who has good taste. Actually, I was just here to see how big of a train wreck this was going to be. Even you, Hive? I thought you of all people would understand my pain. You are a fellow Inhuman's big bad who only shows up on television, ignored by the big budget blockbuster movies, as am I. I thought you would be supportive of my leap from the small screen to the big screen. You're not being promoted, you're being demoted. If you're just going to show up first on the big screen, only to immediately downgrade to the small screen. Not to mention that the quality is exactly the same, experiencing this flabbergasting phenomenon, TV quality, on fucking IMax. It was already pushing it by putting this on the big screen. But IMax? Sure, why not? Put it in a format where everybody will get to see all the flaws much more clear than they would have ever been able to on a TV. But, I'm supposed to be the be-all, end-all, most iconic Inhuman villain of them all. I'm not supposed to be shown up by a second-rate Inhumans villain such as yourself, who, might I add, is not a Inhuman in Earth 616. Well, I am here, sweetie. And don't you dare think for a second that we are on the same level. Your show is getting all the negative criticism. Okay. Go on how Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a critically acclaimed masterpiece. I never said it was, but it sure as hell isn't getting as much hatred as your show. Well, Octodad, guess what? You and I are on the same level of mediocrity. But my team decided to put ourselves on a higher pedestal. We decided to be more ambitious and put ourselves out there. And so as a result, that garnered a lot more attention. Sure, we were not able to live up to the hype, but that is why we seem worse than you. It's not because we actually are worse. It's that we were more hyped up to be on the level of those big budget productions. You, on the other hand, are not expected to be on that level. People have had 4 years to get used to your disappointing mediocrity. With us, on the other hand, we promise to be bigger, but by doing that, we set up a lot more expectations. And once we did not deliver those expectations, we appeared to be a big shit pile of shit-fuck dumpster fire as a result. But only looking like a shit pile of dumpster fire, not an actual one. Okay, I guess I get what you're saying. Maybe it is a good thing then that barely anyone is aware of this and is actually seeing it. Oh, but the joke is on them. Because once we air our 2 episodes in less than a month from now, there will be new material in those episodes, different than how we presented here, so they will wish they saw both versions of this project.
But I don't think they'll be too sad about saving $16.
Good God, $16? Ugh, no wonder we're the only ones here.
Aren't you wondering how the hell I got here? Or how I'm still alive when I should have perished with Lincoln 2 Shield seasons ago?
Yes, I was wondering how you got up to the moon.
Wait a minute. We are at the moon?
Of course we are. Why would I be down on Earth? I can't go down there just yet. All of my family members are pissed at me. They might beat my ass, which is why I sent my bodyguard down there to take care of them.
Ah yes, she's the green lady with the deer ears.
Not in this version. She just looks like a normal human. We decided not to go all the way and put any more effort than we felt like.
Then what's her inhuman trait?
She can heal like Wolverine, except without the claws, and that is basically it. Also, she has post-credit abilities. Ooh, you thought it was over, but no, this is still a Marvel thing, so of course there's a post-credit scene.
Oh yes, what a shocking surprise. This character we don't give a shit about is alive, even though we didn't give a shit about their death either.
Exactly.
So you sent a fellow supervillain to destroy your relatives because you want to be the king of this land and lead your people to destroy the Earthlings. Gee, that sounds familiar.
You know, it's ironic that you accuse me of being unoriginal, even though the criticism you just made is the most unoriginal criticism of them all. Do you know how many times I've been told over and over and over again that I am a poor man's Loki? Oh, you're just like Loki. Oh, Atlan is just like Asgard. Oh, Black Bolt is just like Thor. Oh, that's a ripoff. This is a ripoff. Everything is a ripoff. Well, guess what? Maybe we both ripped off Moses, alright? Maybe we did. That's how Moses is. Did we rip off Moses? No, I don't think so. It's not our fault that we were similar since the 1960s. Do you just want one or the other? Do you just want me to not be here then? I can't not be Black Bolt's brother. He can't not be the king of Atlan. I'm sorry that similar things happen in the same universe, alright?
Gee, I didn't know you had such a problem with that.
I do. And besides, there's plenty of differences. I didn't banish them down to Earth. They fled away with their teleporting dog. But that's not of concern now, because I have imprisoned the dog. One of the loyals who accept my cause has put a spell on him, and has knocked him the fuck out. He got him all high as fuck. Yes, in a very badly executed scene. Not as poorly executed as the flashback on how Black Bolt committed manslaughter on his parents. That was awkward as all hell. Any more awkwardness? Beyond comprehension. But since you are here on the moon, you should be very appreciative of my inclusion into the MCU. And why should I? Because we have done something that no other MCU property has ever done before. We acknowledged the existence of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yes, we have actually made that show matter in the grand scheme of things. The MCU movies would constantly ignore your show. Pretend that it doesn't exist. They didn't even care in the slightest that S.H.I.E.L.D. was already brought back on your show. They don't give a fuck. But do you know who does give a fuck? Us. We acknowledged the status quo of your show. We acknowledged that people's inhuman genes have been activated on Earth, and that more and more are sprouting on that planet. And that the overall public is aware of you Inhumans now. It's becoming public knowledge. You would never see that in the movies, actual acknowledgement of the Inhumans being a big thing down there. But do you know who does dare to acknowledge it? Us. I guess I'm kind of sorry for that. Well, why are you apologizing? Well, if we hadn't have done so much Inhumans lore, maybe that would have meant that you actually would have gotten to be a movie released in 2019. Yes, I remember. We were going to be one of those big budget productions. But that's okay, because we wound up on the big screen anyway. Yes, but with not as much quality, or star power, or good effects as you could have if you were a legitimate movie instead of 2 episodes of a TV show pretending to be a movie. My bad. Well, why is that your fault? Well, you see, if we hadn't have tied your lore so closely into ours, then maybe the studio would have had more freedom to actually do a legitimate movie. But because so much was tied in with us that they realized, wait a minute, the movies can't acknowledge Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That show sucks. So what we have to do instead is bring the Inhumans down to the level of a TV show. I never thought about it that way. Instead of bringing you up, you brought me down. I can't believe this. I could have been hanging out with Loki. I don't care if I'm a ripoff of him or vice versa. And I could have been hanging out with the Vulture, and Abomination, and Zemo, and Mordo, and all the other cinematic supervillains, including the Black Order. Oh, this is all your fault. Maybe I shouldn't have said anything. You're damn right you shouldn't. Oh, dear. Oh dear, this was all a mistake. This was all a mistake. There. Come on now. Cheer up. It's not the end of the world. That's not happening till 2018. And 2019 for all we know. I mean, you're right, we are a Thor ripoff. I planned this whole takeover of the kingdom way in advance, just like Loki tried to do, unexpectedly making friends with the enemies. Are those military assholes one of mine, or did I somehow make a pact with regular humans? I don't know. I mean, I do know, but you don't yet.
Oh, but I could. You've still got 6 more episodes of this season.
You're right. And because this production ended with a cliffhanger, that means that people will be interested enough to see how it all pays off. What will be the fate of my mute brother and his prison sentence? Apparently he's going to have a prison break of some sort and team up with all of those Hawaiians.
Don't forget about the other cliffhangers, such as Medusa.
Ah, yes, Medusa. Will she reunite with her hubby?
Maybe you guys shouldn't have shown that montage at the end that shows all of the juicy scenes to come in the season.
Hey, that's supposed to be a teaser. Every TV show pilot has that. Things to come in the coming season. But one thing was not spoiled was, what about the fate of Karnak? He has suffered a concussion, and his super abilities are on the fritz now.
His beautiful mind abilities.
Yes, his beautiful mind abilities. Seeing CGI data in his head on how to calculate every possible move. That was a cool-ass ability, yes, very cool-ass, especially when you put it to music. Modern poppy music, none of that instrumental score crap. What do you think we are, a legitimate movie? He will have to deal with having a regular mind.
Ah, yes, it's like the allegory of someone dealing through some kind of mental disorder, like dementia or dyslexia.
Those things don't really compare, but yes, exactly. And then you have the cliffhanger of what's to become of my darling sister-in-law. Will she be on our side, or will she continue being my prisoner in her cool loft of an apartment?
Yes, she seemed very unsupportive of your endeavors at first, but it looks like she could come around.
And then that leaves Gorgon, the big, black, more badass version of Mr. Thomas. What will he do with all of those beach bums he has befriended? Will he make an army out of them? How are they supposed to defeat my army with a bunch of surfboards and coconuts?
By the way, can I just say that it's really a breath of fresh air that we can actually have a different setting for a change. Have it be in Hawaii instead.
You know how Disney fans are. They're all about Moana now, so why not give them what they want? It just can't be out of the country for too long. So have it be in the most exotic of all the states.
But wait a minute. You're forgetting one last member of the royal family.
What, Black Bolt's evil cousin? He doesn't need to get into the mix. Screw him. I'm still trying to do my thing.
No, I'm talking about Triton.
Ah, yes. The poor man's Abe Sapien.
He came before Abe Sapien.
Yes, but to the public, he's just a really, really cheaply made Abe Sapien. I mean, look at him. They keep boasting about how it took a very long time to put on that makeup, and it still looks like it was just globbed on there, just flicked off the hand onto his face, like a pile of shit. A pile of green shit that doesn't even look green all the time. Sometimes it looks yellow.
Ugh. No wonder he's only a guest star on this show, and not a regular character.
The less we see of that, the better. But it makes you wonder, if we're only gonna see this character so briefly, then wouldn't that mean that the makeup job would be a lot better? Because if we only see him once or twice throughout this whole season, then that would mean they would give it all they got and make sure it was as high quality and state-of-the-art as possible, instead of this cheap-ass shit. So are you curious, though, what happened to him? I'd expect you're happy that he appears to be dead. Well, we were able to get that cat-eyed girl, who looks like she could kind of be Tigress, but she probably isn't because she is dead. But we weren't able to get his body. My men said that he fell into the ocean. They saw blood, but they never saw a body. However, Gorgon was not able to find him either, so maybe he is dead. Or he's being cared for and will be repaired and brought back to land by a fellow aquatic superhero. I didn't take that into account. I mean, yes, you're right. He is amphibious, so he would be able to survive in the ocean. I mean, he's a fish man. But who could you possibly be referring to? I'm referring to Namor. Namor? What do the Inhumans have to do with Namor? I mean, I guess Crystal had a fling with Namor. She had a fling with everybody. But most of those characters she had a fling with will not be able to be with her in this universe. Ronan the Accuser is dead, Human Torch is owned by Fox, and Quicksilver is both dead and owned by Fox. So I guess that would leave Namor, but it would also leave the Black Knight. Have him have a complex where he's from a lineage of knights who hunt down Inhumans. Yes, that could be interesting. And besides, he would probably fit more into this show than Namor. I mean, come on, why would you do Namor? Well, you see, Namor has been controversially credited as a mutant. But since the mutants are off limits in the MCU, that would mean he could controversially be the first Inhuman instead. Aren't you the first Inhuman? Second Inhuman, I'm sorry. I'm very old. Dementia, I'm afraid. I mean, apparently Marvel has settled a deal with Universal Pictures, but nothing has ever been announced. Do you really think they'll do something with him in the movies after Aquaman will be a big thing? It shouldn't be a problem, but I suppose that they would seem too similar to the public audience, both being from Atlanta and both being shirtless bad boy anti-heroes. But that's more of DC's fault for making Aquaman more like Namor than the other way around. So the way you fix it is by not putting him in the movies. Instead, he'll be on your show. Sure, no one will watch it, but at least he'll be used finally. That's the mentality that put Ghost Rider on your show after you left and got exploded. But we, on the other hand, will not be ignored by the overall movie-going public like you guys. Sure, a lot of people hate us now and think that we are a huge dumpster fire, but once we will go to the format that we were made for, the TV format, we will not seem as sucky. And people will see us for what we really are, and hopefully that will garner enough to get us renewed and explore all the other Inhumans. And maybe non-Inhumans that we will make Inhumans. I mean, there's only so much to go around. Who the hell has heard of the Yeti, or Tusk, or Jolin, or Nahariz, or however the hell you pronounce that.
Oh, so now you are proud of the fact that you decided to screen the first 2 episodes on IMax theaters.
Yes, I am no longer ashamed. I mean, Doctor Who does it all the time. Sure, each episode of Doctor Who is more cinematic than our show, but that's beyond the point.
And that's why I traveled all the way to the moon, to let you know that.
Wait a minute, you knew you were on the moon the whole time?
At first I wasn't sure, because this movie theater looks exactly like an Earth theater.
Well, when my ancestor Inhumans made the migration to the moon, we continued to observe those humans and see how their technology was doing, so that we could replicate it and use our inhuman abilities to make them better. Oh, you have an iWatch? Well, guess what? Our watches turn into the phone. They're not just attached to a phone, they are the phone. It curves and shit. Your iPhones don't curve. Also, screw your buildings. We will make the buildings in a way more impractical way. Just extremely convoluted and not really that livable. But it's different, and that's what we are going for. Not alien, just different.
At least you managed to achieve a big scale on par with the movies. The effects just don't live up to that scale.
Hey, I thought you were boosting my confidence, not breaking it down again.
Sorry, my bad. I just can't help but notice all of these problems.
Oh, I'm noticing all of them too. But that's not keeping me from enjoying the ride. It's still compelling to see how these characters will reunite so that I can capture them and kill them with my fellow inhuman citizens who haven't achieved high power. How dare the superpowered Inhumans put us into slavery just because we haven't achieved abilities like them. We are still dormant.
Yes, that does make me wonder why the hell certain Inhumans with the actual powers actually respect you. Wouldn't they be on the side of Black Bolt?
It's not just about whether or not you have the powers. It's about the charisma. It's about the political views. And my views are the ones that they agree with. And the most useful superpowered Inhuman on my side is my personal That's So Raven. Yes, That's So Raven, 'tis the future he can see. That's So Raven, I don't know his real name.
But I am curious as to why that teenage boy can only see your future.
Well, it seems that he's only able to do that when I touch him.
What?
It's not like that! Shut up! Don't take me out of context. You are going to ruin my image. But that doesn't matter, because he is on my side. Until I inevitably stab him in the back. That's pretty much where that storyline is going. But what's important is that he will be faithful all the way until that happens, because of his jealousy for his butterfly sister. Ay, she's a little butterfly. Ay, he is going to die.
Well, I guess I'm done with my job, so I must be going.
What, you're going to miss this IMax screening?
Oh, trust me, I'm pretty sure a lot of people won't mind missing this screening, such as myself. And besides, I need to go back to Earth now.
How are you going to do that? Is it the same way you got here? You still haven't explained that to me.
Shouldn't it be obvious? It's the same way your loyal subjects have been going down there. The mirror on the wall.
Oh, you mean that big stone face that looks kind of like the magic mirror from Snow White? maybe as an intentional homage, but not completely. How did you persuade him to teleport you down there? He seems to be one of those neutral characters.
Well, I gave him bubblegum.
Bubblegum?
Yes, he said, "Give me gum gum, dum dum." So I gave him gum gum.
Oh, you're trying to make a reference to Night at the Museum. I see. Because that also had a big CGI stone face.
Yes, all I had to do was give him some gum, and he let me walk into his magic stone vagina, and voila, here I am. But now that I fulfilled my mission on this moon, I do have to go back now, back into the stone vagina, and give the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. more shit to deal with.
But wait a minute! Before you walk back into that stone vagina, from the looks of it, the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are long past dealing with you now. They've already had a whole season's worth of dealing with scientific ghosts and robots that put them into the Matrix, so they've already forgotten you by now. And besides, I believe they're going to deal with more intergalactic threats this time. Of course, it sounds way more interesting than how it's going to be, but it definitely won't be with you.
So what are you saying? I should just stay here?
Why not? We're both evil Inhumans who want all power over the other Inhumans. The only difference is that you use your supernatural abilities of swaying people, whereas I just simply use my charisma.
Don't sell yourself short. After all, you do seem to be able to activate that boy's powers of seeing the future.
What, you think that's my ability then? To turn other Inhumans on? That didn't sound right.
Well, in Earth 616, you have the ability to control other people's minds. So how are you not sure that you've actually had your inhuman power the whole time, and were just not aware of it?
You're right. See, this is why you should stay here. You can be one of my lieutenants, or one of my right-hand men.
I'm sorry, Maximus, but I am not that kind of villain. I'm no second fiddle. I must always be the main big bad, like I was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3.
Oh, come on, don't say that. Perhaps we could play Splatoon. You like Splatoon, right?
You mean that game that is filled with negative stereotypes of squid people? No, thank you.
Oh no, I have made it worse. You can hang out with all of my fellow Inhuman buddies. Crystal, maybe you could convince him. After all, you seem to be able to sway a hell of a lot of other Marvel characters.
I'm sorry, Maximus, but not even she will be able to. Oh God! Oh no! It burns! It burns!
Oh dear! Oh no! Crystal, you were supposed to freeze him with your ice powers. Oh no, this is horrible. Not your fire powers, your ice powers. He's dead. I can't believe this.
One of us! One of us!
Oh no! He's anthropomorphic now! He's got the arms and legs and a face and everything!
We're gonna kick out Maximus. He doesn't deserve to be here. He deserves to be on TV because of the quality.
How dare you overthrow your king! I'm never coming back to the movies ever again!
Good!
maybe for riff tracks.